Okay guys, we're doing a video here for the Yahoo Hockey Pool. I had done one years ago, but fortunately they've gone and changed Yahoo yet again, so it makes it more difficult for me to describe it because it doesn't have everything that it will have, but I'll give it my best shot. This is just my profile set up here. I'll show you guys. This is my profile, 77% for my overall performance, which is really quite good. It's in the All-Star. 27 leagues. I've been running these things forever. So this is basically what your dashboard's going to look like when you go into your own profile. It'll show all the different championships you've won. Like gold, silver, gold, silver, and then it'll show bronze too. So that's your trophy case. I'll show you how many trophies in total you got. I got 17 of them. You can also unlock achievements. I pay no attention to that, so whatever for me. As you guys can see, it'll show each year, like the money pool, 2 of 18. It's an outside one I did. I'm in 5th. The free trader pool I won, the Yahoo Public I won last year, the card pool I come in 4th. They'll show you each year how you did. For the purposes of this, we're going to go into last year's money trader pool. So that was the one that was the paid for pool. Alright. So this is what you'd see at the end of the season. First place, my buddy Chip from high school, PJs as well. We all grew up together. He came in first this year. Last year he came in second, and I came in second this year, so we swapped places between us. Death Dealer is another friend from high school. He's also in the group, BJ. He came in third 2 years in a row. Craig, who I think is his second year last year, won the card pool. So if you pay attention to these things, you can really get the hang of it fast. This was just how our playoffs work. Normally I'd go through the season first, but because it shows the playoffs, I'm just going to kind of show you. 1st versus 8th, 4th versus 5th. It's all very standard, same as what you see in the NHL. You take on each other, whoever wins moves on, and then as you can see, the playoff tree goes until whoever wins. Excuse me. So we're going to go, let's see, I'm just going to click on my guy. Alright, so basically, here, I need to move the mouse on the other side. I'm going to have to go lefty style on this, just because of the way the computer's set up. So you guys can see this quite well. Alright, so each, you can't seem to see the players though. It doesn't matter who the players are. So each player you get, like we draft this live. If you're not able to make the live draft, either the computer will pick for you. They'll pick the spots that you need usually from the Yahoo listing, so they'll just pick whatever's next that's highest for what you need. You can also set up a pre-draft order. I like to see everybody come out and actually pick their teams if they can. It's much more fun that way. You get the players that you want. By the end of the season, your team probably won't look anything like it did, except for maybe the goalies, because you can add and drop players throughout the season. I'll get to that in a bit. So we use some standard stats on how to determine how each week is played. So let's say week 1. You'll take on, let's say, whoever it is will be taking on me in the first week. So how we determine this is each of your players have stats. Goals, assists, plus minus, penalty minutes, power play points, shorthanded points, game-winning goals, shots on goals, hits, and blocks. So it kind of covers everything, including the defense. So let's say in week 1, I had 12 goals total from all my players who played, and you had 15 goals. You had more than I did, so you take a point. The assists, let's say I won, and we're just going to go into the plus minus. Let's say the plus minus, you guys won. So you'd have 2 points, I'd have 1 point. So each point that you get, it goes towards your total, right? So let's say at the end of the week, geez, I wish it was like the other way. I could see all this stuff and make life a lot easier, but let's say whoever it is playing me beat me 10 to 6. I don't know exactly. I think there's however many slots, but you beat me 10 to 6. Let's say 10-6 and 1, because you can tie. So the 1 being the tie. So those 10 wins that you got against me would count. Each win is 2 points. So you get 20 points towards your total in the actual league. So you'd have 20 points to start off with. You'd also have a win, or a tie, which is 1 point. So you'd have 21 points. Whereas me, with only 6 wins, I'd get 12 points from that, plus the 1 for my tie. So I'd have 13 points. So, that's how the ranking goes through the regular season. However many wins you get, 2 points each. However many ties you have is 1 point for each person. And then, of course, at the end of the season, the regular season anyways, whoever's in the top 8 will move on into the playoffs, while whoever isn't will go into a consolation playoffs. There's nothing really in it. It's the same thing as what we do. It's more for your Yahoo rankings and whatnot, so that there's certain, if you really want to get into it, there's certain leagues that you got to have a certain percentage to get into. They're like all-star leagues, so you got to have, experience in this stuff, but it's really quite simple. I mean, I know it looks like it's a lot, but as you can see, there's just basic stats. I don't know if you guys can see the goaltending all that well. I can see it now. For goalies, game starts, wins, goals against average, shots against, total saves, save percentage, and shutouts. So goalies in our leagues are very important. They're not quite as important as the players, of course, because there's more stats for the players, but goalie's very important. You want to make sure you don't, like last year, I had Rask. He's what saved me all year. Luongo, of course, started out good, got traded, went down from there. And then I had Tim Thomas, who was a complete flop this year, of course, because, just the way it went. And my goaltending was weak this year. It was my big weakness. Usually my goaltending's tight and my forwards are weak. So I did it the exact opposite this year. Still worked out good. But they also count into this, so it's the same as up top. If let's say your goalies have 6 game starts and I only got 3, then you win that point. It's the same thing as up top. You do have to have at least 2. I don't know if we're going to set it at 3 or 2 this year, but there is a minimum requirement for how many goalie starts you get. I believe we had 2 last year because we had a full unit of 20, and goalies get scarce at the end. But we'll set that up then. We'll discuss it there. But so that's basically the point system for the regular season. It is also the point system for the playoffs. It works the exact same way when you take on. The only difference is if you lose that week, you're out, right? So in the playoffs, I will dump my superstars if I think it will get me the extra points to get me to that next round, because the superstars aren't doing me squat if I lose. So playoff time, it's whatever you got to do, you got to do. Okay, so unfortunately, again, I wish they still had the old setup. You could see everything in here, like all the different things that you have, like in the regular, like put the players in and out. But I'm just going to try to talk us through this. So for each day, as you go along, it will show in here who's playing. So let's say, Boston played against Anaheim. You'd see it right here on it. It would say at Anaheim, and this would be at Anaheim, and you'd know what time they were starting. You get 2 center positions, 2 left wing positions, 2 right wing positions, 4 defense positions, 1 utility position, and then the rest are bench. What that means is whoever's sitting on the bench, if they're playing that day, you will not receive any points from them. They're on the bench. The centers, you've got 2 spots. If your centers, of course, you're going to want to put your players in that are playing, your best players over top of weaker players. So you fill up all your spots up here. Unless it's a slow day, sometimes you'll have nobody going. But, on most days you'll have at least somebody going. Saturdays is usually filled up, so you'll have to actually make decisions on who you want to sit on the bench, who you want playing, getting you points, because, that's where your hockey knowledge really comes in. Who to sit, who to play, when to play that person, when to sit them, especially with goalies. If they're on a bad streak or something, sometimes it's better to play the weaker goalie because, right now they're playing better. So it's tough. You also have to pay attention to who's going to be starting. A lot of the time, Yahoo will put a little blip in there telling you, if you click on it, it'll tell you, what the newest news is on him, if he's playing that night. Josh and I use a website called Left Wing Lock. If you click on the starting goalies, they're really good for telling you who's going to start and who isn't. Not always right. By any means, they're not always right, but they give you a little extra help sometimes to see who's going to be going. If it's from a confirmed source, it'll show the source, so you can actually see, okay, maybe this is right and this is going to happen. But that's how it works. You just drag your player in, you drop them. If that's the one you want in, the other player will be down on the bench. You have a utility player at the bottom here underneath your 4D. That utility player can be anybody other than a goalie, so it can be a defenseman, it can be a center. It's your spot to say, crap, I've got 3 awesome centermen playing tonight. I only put 2 in. That third center's going to go in my utility because he's my best guy to get points from. So that's how you do those. It's really simple. Like as soon as you start playing with it for like 5 minutes, you'll just be like, okay, this is not so bad. The toughest thing about it is just using your hockey smarts. Staying in touch with the game. I usually stroll through a couple of different sites just to see if there's injuries or anything like that, because Yahoo will, of course, update the injuries. If you do get an injury, it'll either be day-to-day. If they're day-to-day, just sit them on the bench. There's nothing you can do about it. If they are placed on the IR, you'll see IR on it. You can grab that person, and Josh and I run our group, so we have 2 IR positions. So you grab that person, you drag them down to the bottom where the IR position will be. It'll open up when you drag it. And you drop them in there, and what that does is it places them in your IR. You still own that player for when he comes back, but what it does is it opens up a slot on your team. So you can go, and this will bring me to the next portion of what we're doing, is the add drop. Because you're placing a player in the IR, it leaves a hole in your team. You have a certain amount of players you can have. I wish it showed it, because up here you'd be able to see the add drop like it used to. But what will happen is you'll have an add or a drop button. You'll just click on your add button. If you've put somebody in the IR, it will show you a list of all the available players who are not taken currently. We'll give you information on them. You can sort them by how well they're doing this year, how well they're doing this week, how well they're doing this month, how Yahoo ranked them. You can sort them by their positions. It's very user-friendly. It's nice. You can sort everything out that you don't want to see. If you just need a centerman, you can just sort them by centerman. And then you just grab that person, slaps them into your team the next day, and then they'll be there available to play. Once that IR player, however, is not injured anymore, in order to put them back in your team, you'll have to drop a player. Again, you just click on the drop player button. It'll show you a list of who you have, and you click on the person you want to get rid of, and you hit drop player. It asks you if you're sure. Say yes. That player goes back into the free agency pool. And we don't use waivers. Waivers are a pain in the ass, so once they hit the free agency pool, they're available. I don't even mess with waivers. They're annoying. So that's pretty easy. If you got a player, and I do this constantly, each week you have a maximum of 4 add drops. So you can drop as many players as you want, but you can only add 4, so never drop more than 4. But what I'll usually do is if I've got a player that isn't playing well, I'll drop his ass. Unless it's a star, of course, you want to ride out your high picks. Hopefully they wake up eventually and do what they got to do. But if you got a lower pick, he's not producing, drop his ass, go to the free agency list, look for someone who's doing better, add them. I do it constantly. You've got 4 each week. It is a great tool. It will help you win. Weeks, I have won playoffs with it. I will literally, if I've got a couple of players that aren't playing that last night and they're top picks, I'll drop their asses even if they're my top pick. And there's a couple that sometimes you can't drop, but we don't bother with that crap either. So, you drop their ass, you pick up a couple of players, they may be low-end players, but they could get you those extra points or hits or whatever you need to push you past them and win, right? So in the playoffs, anything goes. I'll drop anybody. No goalie's safe. Nothing's safe. I've won it that way. So another thing I want to mention, even if you're halfway through the regular season and you're down at the bottom, I have literally climbed from the bottom into the playoffs in the last half of the season and won the playoffs, won that league from that. Never give up. You can always drop players. There's going to be players that come alive for maybe only a month, but if you can, you pick them up, you ride their hot streak, you drop them, you grab another hot streak guy, right? Let me think. Is there anything else? That's the basics of it. The add drop thing, of course, is important. Goalies. I don't usually add drop goalies as much. If it all depends, a goalie gets hurt, the backup becomes active, and they're available in the list, and you think they're going to do better than what one of the goalies you got, then you got to go with what you got to go with, right? I kept Luongo just because there was nothing else for me to pick up. I dropped Thomas. I picked up Zadkov, who hardly ever played, but he still got more wins than Thomas did. So sometimes you just have to take it, to get what you can out of the situation. Let's see. So we've gone over all the different stats. The goaltending, again, important, but your forward's got to be tight too. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stats for the forwards, as opposed to 7 stats for the goalies. So, goalies are more important in our leagues than what they are in some of the basic leagues, but they're still, again, you got to have good forwards. You got to get those points too. So, the draft, live draft, basically it starts at a certain time. Yahoo will randomize our list, our draft order. And the way it works is first place picks first, second place picks second, third place, as you go through the list. Let's say we've got 20 people on the list. When we hit spot 20, they'll take their first pick, right? And then spot 20 will go again. So they'll get the first pick of round 2. And then it will go 19, 18, 17, 16, and all the way back to first place. They'll take their last pick of round 2, and then spot 1 will go again, getting the first pick of round 3. And this is how Yahoo balances it. I know there's people out there that don't like it. I know there's quite a few that like to, if you get first pick, you pick first pick each round. I don't like that. I like it to be fair. I'd like it to be more about the players or the person at home's skill and their knowledge in hockey, and sometimes just luck too. You might just get a lucky team that crushes everything, but I like the fair way anyways, and I find that's the best. That way, if you're picking 20th, you're not completely screwed, because the other way you're completely screwed. You're going to have to try to rebuild your team with nobodies. It's still possible, but it's a lot harder. So that's the draft order we use. Again, I stress, if you want a team that you like, then be there for the picks. Even if you're not, then Yahoo will pick for you. You can set up a list of people that you want. Usually we're pretty close to the full 20 people, so it's going to be a massive list. So it might not be worth going through hundreds and hundreds of people to put on your list, because it's going to go that deep. Like last year, we went really deep, 3rd, 4th liners for the last pick. So it's tough to make a list for it. Generally, we do it on a Sunday. Usually I'll do a vote thing, ask a question on the group and see who can make what day, what days do you have off or something. Usually it's a Sunday night, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will be. It depends on who can make what. Other than that, if you have any questions, you can do trades. The year before, we had some problems with just letting trades go through the group. What I did last year is I put myself and, I'm already the manager, the commissioner, but I put my brother Josh, who's been running these for years, as my side commissioner, so that we would have to approve or disapprove any trades that come through. As long as they're not completely lopsided, it's fine. The reason why we don't want lopsided trades is because you could have 2 buddies in the same pool, and some of these are for money, like this one's for money. There's a free one, and there's a card pool, which is where each person puts in a 50 BV card, and whoever wins it takes all them cards. So it's quite nice. Craig won that one this year, so he got some nice 50 BV cards. The money pool, we have a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. First place, it depends on however much we take in. I believe it's decent. Like, you know, first place was over 200, second place I think was like 100 something, and then third place was, I don't know, I have to look at my paperwork, but it was 400 split 3 ways. So that first place got the most, second place got a decent share, and third place got something out of it. So, and that's basically how those ones worked. We just do the 3 pools. I think it's, you know, the easiest. There's lots of static pools out there if you like this stuff, but, you know, this is more involved. It gets people, you got to use your hockey sense, plus you're playing people you know, right? So it's interesting. If you have any questions, fire me off a message. Josh knows these things like the back of his hand. Zach, PJ, we've all been doing these for a long time, so we all know what we're doing with this stuff. Like I said, we have a free pool, completely free, just for fun. The card pool, of course, you know, 50 BV. The money pool is just $20, and winner takes, you know, a decent amount home. This year Chip took it. I got second place, and BJ got third place. So plus you get the opportunity to knock us admins off our high horses. You know, we've been winning these things pretty much straight since it started, so it gives you a chance to take us down. Anyways, guys, this is a retardedly long video already, so if I think anything else that I need to come in on, I'll bring it in. It's really quite easy. Don't be scared of it. They're free. You just make a Yahoo email account, and on you go, and it's easy peasy. There's no money. There's no sign-ups. You just got to have a stupid email account. You actually, now I think you could get your own Yahoo team without having a Yahoo email. So I know people can do that now. All you do is when Yahoo opens up, you send me what your email address is. I send you the invite. You click on the invite. It takes you in. You create your team. Bingo. You're there. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Again, if I do see something that I should have added, I'm sure there's stuff I'm forgetting because it's not set up the way I'm going to do it. But I'll do another little video to cover that. Anyways, cheers.